Welcome back to the channel.
Tell me your name is.
Maxis.
Maxis what?
Maxis Corbin Nail.
So where are you from?
The building.
You from your mama, but don't tell your daddy.
Okay.
So you want to be a YouTuber?
Yeah.
Do you? Why you want to be a YouTuber for?
So I can make money.
Okay. Well, you come from money. You ain't got to worry about money. Daddy gonna leave you all kind of money. You ain't got to worry about that.
Okay.
But why you want to be a YouTuber?
So I can make YouTube videos.
So you make good videos?
Mhm.
So that's what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Alright, so what you gonna name your channel?
Max's channel.
Max's channel.
Mhm.
Alright, well, now you gotta start working on you some videos. I'm gonna show you how to edit, alright?
Alright.
Sounds good. Alright, so I ain't recording none of this. So I'm doing a flex plate on this thing. And this bolt was missing right here. There's a bolt up here that's missing sideways. Now I come over here and I'm starting to try to take stuff loose. And I get this bolt loose here. Then I get to looking and look at this. I left that bolt loose. Somebody's had a transmission out of this thing one time, which I figured because it has a gray silicone on the pan. Transmission works fine, but see, I noticed when there was bolts missing around it from different spots, I was like, man, somebody's done freaking rigged this thing up. So we'll make sure it has all the bolts in when it goes back together, but I gotta get that bolt out, and I got a bolt here from the side I have to get loose, and I gotta start pulling converter bolts out of it. I had to run out here and pop an oil pressure switch in this thing. It was reading 0, and she told me, she said, hey, this thing says it ain't got no oil pressure. It's throwing an alert. I said, well, I'll come out and take care of it. So grabbed the oil pressure switch, come out here and popped it in 2-3 minutes. Now I'm gonna drive it the road. So far everything's good. I said when I fired up it said 0, so looking pretty good so far. There's the noise just like I thought. Hell, you can even hear it when you right there in the center of that thing. Let me get a head. Well, it ain't broke right. Well, it might be broke off. There you go. That's what was rattling. So let's get the new one on it, check it out, put it all back together, make sure everything's the same, and we'll rock with it. This Whirl pack one's definitely thicker and heavier. You can just tell by grabbing. That thing's flimsy. This thing weighs a little bit more, a little bit thicker, a bit more heavier duty. Must be a fix for them. Well, it's 6:30 at night, taking this thing back, got it done. That one bolt, they got the hole cross-threaded so it won't bottom out, like it stops at a certain point up in there. There ain't nothing I can do about that. But I put other bolts back in all the other holes. So it has 3 more bolts in it than it had before. Anyways, I got to show and tell y'all. So the Jeep was had the brake scrubbing on the left rear side the other day, so I ordered some pads. So I'm gonna come out here this morning, swap the pads out on it, send it back on the road before I get my day started. These things are easy. Just pull your 2 bolts out. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze my caliper before I even pull it off. I just go ahead and put my pliers up here and squeeze on this, push that piston back, pull my pads off. So I got to looking, and the piston was coming apart up in there. So I went ahead and ordered one real quick. They sent me the wrong pads anyway, so guess we'll go ahead and do them both at the same time. All right, I'm back working on this thing. I had, yesterday I didn't have the right pads. They sent me the wrong pads, and the caliper, the piston was broke on it. So this is the other side. This is the side making a noise. What I like to do before I ever pull the caliper loose, I like to stick a bar in here and I like to pry it apart. That allows you to get up in here and you can start prying over on this thing and save some time on pushing that piston back. You can go ahead and push that piston back right now, and that way you're not over here having to fight it with pliers, which I still use pliers on it. But if I can get that piston moved back as far as I can, then usually it helps time by just pushing pressure back on it like this. and you don't have to squeeze as hard. It's easier to pull against it like this than it's not than it is if you just turn around and break it loose. Once I get my screwdriver in there, I just push it, pull it, and pull it all the way back to that piston's all the way inside of it. That was your worn out pad. I got the good out of that one. You do your brake pads like you do your, and don't worry about the bend. That's where I pried back on it. You do your brake pads like you do your gas gauge. You run all the way to empty. That way you get your money's worth. 10-minute brake job, not too bad. Got your caliper on, got to bleed it out real good. Put it back together, wheel back on. All right, well, I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, I had jiu-jitsu yesterday, so it's Wednesday. So I come out here, that Chevrolet I done a while back, a little GMC, I done a DOD delete on it. We had him a little oil leak, and he does construction and stuff, and he seen that on a neighbor's driveway, not neighbor, customer's driveway, had a couple of oil spots. So he goes through and calls me, he's like, hey, I think my truck, I can smell a little oil on it occasionally, and so I come out here and it's the rear main seal leaking in it. So for people who don't know, on LS motor, they got a cover and then they got a seal. If you just go and replace the rear main seal, you'll still have problems. The seal don't really ever go bad, but it's the same process because you gotta replace the rear main seal cover. So the cover, Dorman makes a cover that has a cover and a seal built into it. Well, there's a little gasket around that cover. When you bolt it up, it seals it. Well, it's a piece of aluminum with a little bit of rubber around the inside edge of it, and there's rubber around the bolt holes. And when you screw the bolt through it, it seals them bolt holes off. Well, it also seals the back of the motor, the cam tunnel and all that. It seals all that off. Well, what happened is, over time, they go through and they start breaking down. And when they break down, they start leaking oil around the cam tunnel because there's pressure on it. So it'll start pushing pressure past the thread and leak. A lot of people will go in there and they'll just replace the seal, and then they'll have a leak again. They'll still have a leak and they get disgusted. But the biggest thing is, if you replace the whole cover and the seal, you won't have a problem out of it. It takes care of the issue. So, all right, so this was down here, like I'm in Stanley now. I'm gonna leave from Stanley, let's roll on to Charlotte. Sorry about my dirty window. I need to wash this thing pretty bad. Check out that guy right there. Look at him. Look at that boy right there working. What's up, Damien? What you doing, buddy? Come here for a minute. Come here for a minute. Where we at? What's your name?
Damien Pacehouse.
So who they need to call?
Call me.
What's the number?
704-263-2833.
You hook them up with what? A nice quality, low miles car?
Yeah.
Or high miles car, don't matter. It'll just be good and quality, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. Call for Damien. Y'all know I ain't no Ford guy, but this is probably the baddest Ranger ever. There at Jason Allison's place, his brother built this 4-link. Well, he's still building it, but he's almost done with it. Check this out. Coyote swap with a whipple on it, 4-link. Jason done the paint on it. That thing is freaking bad. Look at it. Such a cool looking truck. Got the Dodge figured out. It's got a bad ignition switch in it. I worked it around and finally got the crank. Had to swap the crank sensor out on it and stuff. And figured it out. Pretty simple fix. Had to check out some stuff on it. I'll check out that. Look, that's that thing right there. Coyote swap focus up in this thing with a whipple on it.
Yeah,
Look at that.
the battery's dead on the back of it, but he got
That's cool. That's super, super cool. Turn you on some game. Get you a cupcake, chocolate cupcake. Couple scoops of Tony's ice cream, chocolate ice cream mix in here. Put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds. Mix it up. It ain't good for my diabetes, but man, it's good. Now mix it together. Cold ice cream, hot brownie, or hot cupcake. It's freaking killer. Ended up being, it was a Tiberon. Been sitting for 3 or 4 years. I put a jumper cable on it, crunk right up. The right front wheel on it's bowed sideways. Well, they might have jumped the heel, so I popped the bumper back on. Told them they need to order a strut and some tires, and I'd come back out there and do the strut. And in the meantime, I talked to her dad, and he wants me to do a thermostat. So I told him, I said, well, you just bring me the, I said, you just get the strut and stuff. I'll come out here and do the thermostat and your escape and that at the same time. So on to the next one. Well, it's Friday. I ain't recorded much of this, but I come down here, put a water pump time belt in for a local garage, help them out a little bit, get them called up. Had a mechanic quit on, so asked me if I'd come by and knock it out. So that's what we're doing right quick. Coming here, sanitary all my covers, my throttle body, all that. Now I just gotta go through, pull my oil pump. That's the oil pump on here. The oil pump drive right here, and I gotta pull the water pump off right here because the water pump was leaking on it. Place the water pump, time belt, all that, and get it back together. All right, well, it took me about 2.5 hours for that. $350. Not a bad, not a little bad little leak this morning to knock out. Now I'm gonna run out here to Michael Nail's house, and we're gonna run the valves on this car. He's got a solid roller cam in it. It's 2 holes right and a little bit funny. So I told him, I said, well, check compression, check spark, check fire, move the injectors around, all that. He did. It was still cold on him, so I said, well, check your valve lash. So he loosened it up a little bit, crunk it, got heat in it. So I'm gonna go up here and help him run the valves on it, check them all, and get it ready for tomorrow. Y'all ride with us. Run the valves on it. Got all that took care of. Changed out 3 spark plugs. Got the EGT reading right. Looking good. Ready for tomorrow. Well, the people's car's coming together a little bit. Come out here to help Michael out. Adjust his valves and all on his motor, getting ready for tomorrow. And he was like, well, he hands me this right here. Hold on, let me get my camera out. He says, there you go. He says, you can have those. He said, you can sell them, do whatever you want to with it. He said, donate them to Caden's car or whatever. He said, so you can have them, use them, whatever you want to do with them. Here you go. So, ain't a bad deal. Ain't a bad deal at all. Like I said, if you look out for people, people will look out for you. People help you out and all that. People take care of you, you know what I mean? You just got to keep your heart pure, treat people right. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about, oh, it's this, you owe me that. You don't let greed bother you, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, you help people out of the kindness of your heart, not expecting nothing out of it, and the Lord will take care of you. You go out here and you expect something from somebody, you want something from somebody, live miserable, die miserable. You come out here, you live happy, be happy, treat people right, you got no problem. But like I said, we're appreciative of it. I'm going to go home, surprise Caden with it. I ain't going to say nothing to him. I'm going to just pop up, throw it in his lap time, say, here you go, son, here's some injectors. One more step closer, one less thing we got to buy, so there you go.